Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Stupid Questions podcast. Today in the pod, we're going to be talking with Elise Gorman. If you don't know that name, you most likely know of her page, the Tripole Athlete. She posts a lot of start lists for all the big races and even some of the smaller races, and highlights athletes across the spectrum in terms of popularity level. So, really good conversation today with Elise. I hope you enjoy it. If you are here, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all the things. And without further ado, I want to introduce you to Elise Gorman. My mother-in-law is actually staying here in the room, so I had to kick her out so I can record. The podcast studio is also a guest bedroom at the moment, but it's been, crazy. 12 days. She's honestly been really good in terms of the lack of sleep that I thought I would have. We've only had like 2 really rough nights where it's like every hour on the hour somebody's moving around and stuff, but she seems to sleep pretty well, eating well. So, yeah, I cannot complain. I'm very happy.
Yeah, very good. Touch wood, that continues, hey?
Yeah. 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 No kidding. Yeah. How are
It's
you?
yeah, pretty good. Busy at the moment, just with work and stuff, but that's nothing unusual, I would say. But
Yeah.
yeah, nice to sort of break it up with a few other things, which is nice. But yeah, I don't have kids, so my life's pretty simple
Mm-hmm.
at the
Do you
moment.
want
So
kids someday?
yeah, I do. Yeah. So definitely on the cards. But yeah, haven't got them yet. But maybe sometime soon, I
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I've got 3 nieces and a nephew. And all my friends, a lot of them have kids now. So you see how kids change you.
Mm.
And you go from a life of obviously control to not so much.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Both
just
physically and emotionally.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, um, yeah, no, I just went to the beach not too long ago actually with all of them, and you see them evolve as parents. It's quite funny. You don't want to get the minivan, you don't want to get the little cart, you don't want to do all this. You're never going
Yeah.
to. All of a sudden, you realize how simple life is if you do just accept it.
Yeah.
I do like seeing that. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's been good. I can't say I have a lot of experience yet, but letting go, and especially from like the triathlon training standpoint, I count it as like
uh,
a success if I get in just maybe one session a day, 30 to 45 minutes. Um,
yeah,
and yeah, I think that's the best way to live. And a lot of my friends have told me these are the moments that obviously you'll never get again. So just kind of lean in and enjoy it as much as you can, even with the lack of sleep. So that's what I'm trying to do, and it's going well so far. But I will say,
yeah,
I have enjoyed some of the new gadgets, like we got this Mercedes Benz of that my mother in law got us a stroller that's also connects in with the car seat, and it's got all these fancy attachments for warming or sunshade
yeah,
or waterproof cover and all that. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, it's definitely not a new
yeah.
bike, but it's pretty fun.
The amount of money you can spend on all those sort of things. I do actually ask some of my friends, I'm like, what's the one thing that you can't live without? And it's usually something completely random. And there's usually a couple of things where they say that, yeah, don't buy this. That's a complete waste of money.
Mm,
Uh, yeah, very much dependent on the kid, which is quite amusing sometimes. But
yeah, for
um,
sure.
I did watch your podcast with Sky, so I've been sort of following her sort of journey. So
Yeah, she's great.
yeah, how people, I think triathlon in itself is very complex and time consuming. So how you add a child into that, yeah, I don't know how people do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't either. I'm still figuring it out. Yeah, and Sky's awesome. It's she sent me so many different recipes and things that you could do to like bulk up on food. Which
Yeah.
right now we haven't had to worry about as much because my mother in law's here, obviously. But after she starts to get ready to leave, I'll be, I think, banking up some soups and all the things that are
Mm.
you can freeze for a long time because of that's. I think that will be important. But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fun journey. No kidding.
Yeah. Accept the help while you've got it.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah, for sure. So, forgive me for not knowing this, but do I pronounce your name Elise?
Elise, yeah.
Elise. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Got it, good, good, good. I was having nightmares about saying it incorrectly.
No, that's right. I'm the same with any triathlete's names, to be honest. So yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully I don't get that wrong. Do you remember we met in New Zealand?
I do. Yeah, I was running. I think I
Yeah.
was running. I ran by and you recognized me, and embarrassed to say I did not recognize you, and you were like, "Oh, triathlete." I was like, "Oh, yeah, 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 yeah." Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy that that's already been a year and what,
Mm,
2, 3 months.
yeah.
Insane.
I don't tend to show my face very often on the page, so I'm not surprised you don't know
Yeah,
me, but you're probably one of the only people that I've probably met. There's a few others obviously with other connections, but
yeah,
um yeah, no, it was random.
yeah. Do you go to New Zealand often, or is that your first time there?
That was my second time there. So I had been before just to Queenstown, so on a skiing holiday when I was younger. But yeah, Tapo's it's beautiful.
Mm,
So if anyone's going there, I'd definitely recommend it. It's yeah, and I think again, I kind of there were similarities, I guess, with Cairns in terms of your ability to sort of jump throughout the course, which is what I really liked. So yeah, it's probably one of the better races that I've been to as well.
yeah, it's gorgeous. And you said Queenstown. I just have to say, I got to go to Queenstown. That was the last city we visited on our way back home. What a
Mm,
cool place, man! Like
yeah.
it's a yeah, that it's a lake that it's on Queenstown, right? It doesn't. It's not an
Oh
inlet,
yeah.
an ocean. Yeah, it seems like an ocean the way that that city's just kind of set up, but so beautiful. The
Mm,
mountains, the food there. I hate American food compared to New Zealand food. It was like everything was farm to
yeah.
table. But yeah, such a cool
Oh yeah.
place.
Yeah. Yeah.
How would you compare Australia with New Zealand?
I haven't spent too much time there, but yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
Like when I was over there for I think 2 weeks when we were in Taupo, but yeah, like there were some differences even in I don't know if you noticed it or you would have coming from America, but the garbage, putting the garbage out and having to pay
Mm,
for bags and all of that. That's we don't do that in
yeah.
Australia. We've got 2 bins. We pay for it through rates, but
Same.
yeah, the emphasis, I guess, on recycling and reducing waste was yeah, different. I just didn't expect it for some reason.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like you
And
have to because it's so
so
densely populated and smaller island. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, super fascinating.
Hmm.
So, you grew up in Australia, I would assume, born and raised?
Yeah, I grew up in Brisbane, and sort of stayed within the same sort of area. So, where I am is, I guess, over the north side of Brisbane, and when I guess, first got introduced to triathlon, it was quite a triathlon hub. So they had, Cam Watt. He used to have a squad over this side.
Okay, nice.
So the audio is just dropping over a bit. Yeah, he had a squad over this side. So, like Amelia Watkinson, Renee Kiley, etc. Sarah Crowley, they'd sort of be over here, and I'm surrounded by mountains. So,
Mm,
um, yeah, like it's beautiful. Mountains basically all around us, and it's kind of like a pocket to nowhere. So, yeah, grew up here, jumped there's a couple of houses growing up, and then I ended up buying my house in the same area as well. So, yeah, haven't sort of
yeah,
ventured out too.
yeah. What was childhood like for you? Do you have siblings?
Yeah, so I'm the middle child. So I've got a younger brother, older older brother as well. So it's only 2 years apart. So um, you know, kept me busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're down at one's down in Melbourne now, and the other one's up at Weipa, which is at the top of Queensland. So um, all sort of spread apart. And my parents live not too far from me, so we're sort of all over the place.
Yeah. That's neat. Yeah, my father-in-law talks about Australia all the time. He wants to go, never been. But from what
Oh,
little research I've done, it seems like such an amazing, but also I guess it gets like this, I don't know, personification of just being a really intense place where a lot of things can kill you. Is that true? No, not
no.
really.
Oh, there definitely are things that can kill you, but
Yeah.
they're not in our backyard or what everyone makes out. So I suppose in my particular area, there are occasionally some, I guess, wallabies that sort of hop around. Or like the other day, I've had some blue tongue lizards in my yard and, kookaburras and things like that. But,
Mhm.
crocodiles we don't see in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Um, but I do spend a bit of time up in, because my younger brother's up in Weipa. So that's the very tip, or close to the tip, of the Cape up there. And it's a very different story up there.
Mm.
So crocodiles, box jellyfish. So yeah, we go out fishing when I'm up there. So yeah, massive sharks.
Wow.
So of Australia, I like that, but yeah, around New Brisbane area, it's pretty tame.
Yeah. That sounds super super neat to live there. Do you ever feel or have you ever felt like the need or the desire to move elsewhere?
I do a lot of travel, so like I can travel anywhere. So my job, um, I sort of go to rural and remote areas across Queensland. So your outback type locations. So locations like Longreach, Mount Isa, Weipa, Cairns. So your more regional sort of sites as well. So I get to do a lot in Queensland. Done some travel sort of in other states and territories as well. But yeah, I haven't really had the desire to live anywhere else. Done a bit of travel overseas. Um, Spending a bit of time, yeah, a few months in America just with some triathlon stuff. But yeah, no, I'm happy in Australia. I
Yeah.
think it's nice to get a taste of other things, but you come home and you do realize how lucky we are to live where we are. And you do take a few things for granted. So it's nice to get a little taste of other things. But yeah, nice to come back home at the end of the day.
Yeah. When you say work, obviously triathlete, I would assume is a type of work, but is that like your main thing that you focus on right now?
No.
Tell me
Triathlete,
about
not income generator, Seth. It's more of, I don't know if I would describe it as a hobby. It just kind of evolved, to be honest. So my day job, so I'm a general manager at a health organisation. So I sort of oversee a team of a team that looks out to provide health services across Queensland where there are none. So, particularly in rural and remote areas, access to health services might be quite limited. So, we basically work with organisations and communities to work out where there's no services, and we send them in there. We fly them in there. So, um, that's, I guess, my day job.
Can
Tripile
can I
athlete
ask
is.
a question really quick about that? Is that like a type of medical tourism then? Like where you bring people to a service that they need somewhere else?
It's the first time I've heard it say tourism, but it's essentially so like if I'm in Longreach, they might not have a doctor,
Yeah.
or have a doctor that does skin cancer screening, for example. So we would recruit a doctor and contract them in to go deliver services in that location. So
Okay.
if you visit, you'd fly in, they'd fly out, and they do that multiple times a year. So we do that. It's around oh gosh, about 1,400 services across Queensland. So around 19,000 health service visits.
Wow, that's a lot.
It essentially means that those people in those communities don't have to fly to Brisbane or to a regional centre to access care. So
Mhm.
if you think the disruption that comes with life having to do that in terms of, pulling kids out of school, pulling kids out of childcare, the cost involved, there's a lot of barriers to access. Whereas what we're trying to do is to get the service closer to home,
Mhm.
to remove for
That's
those
super
people.
super fascinating.
Yeah. So
If I
very
may,
different to
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if I may ask a couple more questions on it, just because I'm interested, like within the healthcare system that exists in Australia, is this something that's supported through like an insurance or government backed subsidy for healthcare, or is that?
Yeah, so the programs I that support the work that we do are Commonwealth funded,
Okay.
but we also have some other pockets of funding through state government as well, just depending on what the health priority is. But yeah, essentially.
How did you get into that?
So I did a health degree. So I did Bachelor of Health Science, majors in population health and health service management. So I finished that degree and then, yeah, obviously went on the job hunt as a new graduate and got into, I'm actually still at the organisation that I started straight out of uni with. So I've been there for 18 years. So,
Good for you.
um, been around, yeah. So yeah, really lovely place to work and really lovely people. And I've worked with the same CEO for the whole 18 years. So, yeah, obviously enjoy working there. But yeah, sort of just started as like a population health officer. Funnily enough, my first program, and this is, 18 years ago, was population health planning. So, and pandemic planning fell under that as well. So when
Oh
all
my
this
God.
COVID
Yeah.
got to, yeah, we used to joke actually that, they'd whip out those plans that we did 18 years ago and we'd be sorted. So, yeah, no, it was strange through COVID because I obviously had a bit more context than other people and just sort of saw how it was evolving and just thought, oh, this is not good. Like if they're bringing in, WHO and, other things,
Hmm.
this is going to escalate quite quickly. And within a couple of weeks, things were shut down,
Yeah.
etc. So, but no, I'd say that those plans are still on the shelf if they ever were. So, and they've been superseded a few times. But
Yeah.
yeah, sort of started there. I've done different programs like bowel cancer screening, nursing in general practice, um, oh, so many different programs, and then sort of didn't fall into this role, sort of progressed my way through into, we call it outreach services. So
Hmm.
you're outreaching. Um, so yeah, and then been in this position for probably the last 2 years. So I've seen a few different evolutions of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to stick on this for just a few more minutes because it fascinates me when you say 18 years with a company. Because a lot of my generation, that's very atypical. It's like, oh, I was here for 6 months. Is like, a long time. And then if you see someone there for 3 years, you're like, wow, that was a really long time. But you're talking about 3 years, or excuse me, 18 years. Um, so I've also experienced something similarly. Now I'm an entrepreneur, so it's a little bit different. Like I'm not working in corporate America, but my longest like retainer gigs usually are like the long end is like 3 years. And I
Yeah.
have noticed in myself like there's a bit of a weakness that after a couple of years, if I don't think things are going the way I want them to go, like I tend to be like, oh, I'm going to move on and do something else. But I think that that also robs me of the potential reward I would exist that after 18 years, you have a lot more perspective, understanding, rapport with people, whatever it may be. From your perspective, what is something that you think that I or other people who do kind of the shorter term stints with these companies, what is something that you think we miss?
Um, Gosh, I think I guess I've been quite lucky to be under one CEO, so one set of leadership. Um, and I guess the culture that's been created through that leader has been quite specific. So in my situation, there are around, I think, including my CEO, there's probably around 5 or 6 people that have been there for around 18 years, so similar to me. So um, we are friends, obviously, if you work with people for that long, you become friends with them. So, but this was when I was 21. So we went out together, we went to clubs, we did drinking, all that sort of stuff on the early days after work. Um, and then, you'd rock up to work the next day and, there was that, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's just the culture. And you don't realize how lucky you are to have that until potentially there are some changes that
Mm,
can come into that. But I think just the stability that provides one for the work that you do. So obviously in the health space, um, people are relying on the services that we're sending out to these locations. So a lot of our services, they roll over year to year because the need still exists. And we do hear case studies from, patients around, how much these services mean to them, the cost savings, all of that sort of stuff. So we've got providers that have been working with us for, 15 or so years. So just as long as I've been there. So I remember, recruiting some of these providers. And they obviously stayed around. So I think in terms of you can definitely see the benefits for the organization, but in terms of the personal benefits, you do see um, what that consistency of workforce and culture does actually produce in terms of outcomes for these communities through the work that you're providing. And I'd imagine that's similar in any other organisation. In health, we do see a lot of chop and changing across organisations. Whereas I would say with my organisation, yeah, it's been really steady because of those, central people in those positions
Mm.
keeping, in the end, it flows through. So I think it's very fortunate from that. And for me, that brings a lot of satisfaction that I'm continuing to deliver that consistency of service for the people
Yeah.
that need it. And I've been lucky enough, I get to go out to some of these communities and, we do hear some of these case studies as well. So, sometimes it might be, I'm in my office in Brisbane, but when you do go out there, you do see how much people appreciate these services that you're doing. So it's not just, a line on a spreadsheet that's a service going to a particular location. It actually is, oh, okay, well, as a result of that, 20 people now got to see a skin cancer GP. So they did get some screening, they picked up some melanomas, they were able to treat them, and then just in terms of what that then means for the rest of their life and the impact that that means just by picking that up, that's why we do what we do, basically. But I've also not stayed in the same position. So I've jumped around to different positions as well. So it hasn't been boring, or if it has ever started to get boring, I, had the ability to sort of mix it up and change it and to take on a new project. So I think that helps as well. Just not being in the same program.
Yeah. How many employees do you work with? Like, how many colleagues do you have?
So I think in the organisation is around 45.
Nice.
In my team, 18.
Okay, nice. When you started, did
Yeah.
you have the ambition to kind of rise through the ranks to where you are now?
Um, Not really. It wasn't something I sort of set out to do, but generally just how I am and my work ethic and how I process things. I'm very systems and process driven. Um, so it's not a surprise that I did progress through, but I've also had some great managers that have obviously supported me through that time as well. So they've sort of advocated for, changes in roles and things like that. But
Yeah.
um, certainly wasn't something I said. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm career orientated as such, although I reflect back now and you think, oh, maybe I was, but I just never admitted it to myself, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I think there's a lot more outside of work that's important. So it doesn't control my life, but it is a big part of it.
Mm. What are the most important things in your life outside of work?
I would say family, and I've got I think when we obviously started the conversation talking about kids. So my younger brother's now got 3 nieces and a nephew, and I think when kids come into the equation, it changes things a lot. You've obviously probably experienced that in the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so you do become a lot less, I suppose, selfless. Like everything revolves around them and making sure that they have a good experience. They, feel special. They, et cetera, et cetera. So um, they're really, I guess, important to me. And I've been very lucky, I guess, with my younger brother and my sister-in-law, that, they let me be involved.
Involved.
And, I spent Christmases up there with the kids. So I have done for the last probably 5 years. So, um, yeah, I think that would probably be, I've got photos of them and I see them on apps and things like that. So I don't get to see them all the time because they're up north, but I do, when there's holidays, I do try and get up there as much as I can because it goes really fast. I can tell you right
Mm.
now, just from nieces and nephews perspective, I think my nephew's now 9 and, he's on
Wow.
motorbikes and, things like that because he has been since he's 3. He's crazy. And, every year you go up there and they're so different. Um, they loved craft one year, they don't love craft the next year. They want to go bike riding, they want to go fishing, and it just changes the
Mm.
dynamic. And you can't help but sort of look back. You hear it when you hear it goes, oh, it goes so fast, it goes so fast, and then you actually experience it yourself, and you go, yeah, it does go fast.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, earlier. Um, don't rush through the process.
Yeah. Enjoy it. Yeah, it's so
Mm,
crazy to me, like the concept of time. Whenever you are the kid, a week of school seems like an eternity, and you're like, oh my goodness. And then you get 30 years old, and obviously the ratio of time spent on this earth, to how you observe it is like it just grows smaller and smaller, or bigger and bigger, I guess, depending on how you look at it. But it's crazy how the concept of time can change with your age. Because, like you said, yeah, now I'm
yeah.
34. No, I'm 33. I'm 33 or 34. I can't remember, but one of those numbers. And yeah, as time continues to march on, I just, yeah, it's hard to keep track. Hours fly by, days fly by, and it's like, what really matters? I think it goes back to what you're saying, that time spent with family. Because my sister, middle sister, she has two little kids that are getting ready to be two and getting ready to be one, and so getting to
Mm,
experience them, and then now having my own, it's like, yeah, the change every day as the personality adapts, and yeah, all that
yeah.
really matters is like them being happy and making those memories. Because I think on our deathbed, that's probably the only things we'll really care about is how did we spend our time with our family, or
Mm.
are we happy with how they turned out, how we turned out?
Yeah, that's right. And like I've been to you go to, not that I want to make this a bit morbid, but you do go to funerals and things like that and
Hmm.
know, what you did for work,
Yeah.
about your personal experiences and your friendships and, fun things that you did. So you sort of reflect there. And I always say walking out of funerals that it's so sad to see people, not sad, but you're celebrating someone's life after they've gone. And it's just a shame that they didn't get to see it. So yeah, that's always a funny thing for me.
Yeah. Mm. So, what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh gosh. I think a nice and kind person. Um, yeah, I think it's that simple actually. Um, yeah, I hope that's what people, think of me, I guess at the end of the day. But and just I guess the fun that sort of we had, I guess. But
I,
yeah, no, that's a
for what it's worth, I think you're succeeding. I'll say this. So, I typically do make judgments of people quite quick. I think we all do. Now, I will caveat that with saying if I do make a harsh judgment, I do try to take a step back and give the person the benefit of the doubt and try to arrive at a different conclusion based on more observation and personal experience. But when I first met you, I remember the exact spot. It was right near those heat pools or whatever on the beach. And you said my
mm,
name, and I turned around. But the energy that you gave off was very much that like kind and sweet. I hope this isn't weird to say, but you reminded me of my mom actually. Um, Obviously a bit younger, but the same energy and fun. She's very logistics oriented, loves structure, and she actually works for me in a way. And so as I get to as I've gotten older and have gotten to actually work with her and
mm,
just see how she does with systems and processes, I see so many similarities between me and her. But anyway, for all that to say, she's really kind and sweet, and you reminded me of my mom in that way. So
oh, that's all
I think you'll be
right.
remembered for that.
Yeah.
Do you think that those traits are more of a nurture or a nature part of who you are?
Um, oh gosh, I don't know. I think both. My mum's I would say I'm very similar to my mum. Um, because I guess we're quite practical. Um, I don't know. I would say that I've got a few different sides. Like and I probably don't show this on Tripole Athlete because you do worry about, I guess how the Australian sense of humour comes across. Um, and my sense of humour, you say a few things and I hate it. But I'm conscious that a lot of my following aren't Australians, so probably possibly don't get it. So I do try and not put that out there as much. Um, I'm like it's probably something I'll probably change this year. I'll try to change, but again, like I try to keep it pretty safe. Um, like on, DMs and things like that, I'll have jokes with different people, and different pros and stuff like that. But yeah, you're just careful about how things can come across, I would say. Um, but I try to keep neutral. I'm not going to be one of those people that are, well, I suppose you could say I'm brand safe in terms of I'm not going to be overly critical on particular triathlon
News.
drama.
Mm-hmm.
I'll sit back and watch and make fun of, that, or I'll just, stir the pot. But yeah, no, I try and stay out of all that and keep my opinions to myself. Um, I think there's enough opinions in the triathlon space to fill that gap.
Have you gotten into trouble in this, I guess, the tripole athlete side of things, or in other areas of life that have given you a reason to adopt that reserved aspect?
Um, no, I don't think so. Like everyone on the tripole athlete side has been pretty friendly. Like you might get the odd thing, occasionally spell a name wrong. Um, most people,
People are petty.
yeah. There's, I could give you some examples, but I
Please
won't.
do.
uh, there's some really, so I use AI to do some of the stuff that I do on the page.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't always get things right. I generally, you do the cross check, you can check it 100 times and then it goes out. And when you're dealing with people's names, there's so much that can go wrong. So I think was it Andrew Horsfell Turner? I've probably pronounced his name. What did I get his name wrong? Anyway, absolutely butchered his name, like completely butchered it. Um, but I'm pretty sure it was him. I'll have to double check, but he again, he was lovely. He just rang me. He's like, "Who is this?" Like, messaged me. He's like, "Who is this person?" I have no idea how that happened, but like, he's lovely. But then there's been other examples. It changed to a name, and it actually doesn't. Yes, it's. I do my best to get everyone's names wrong, right? Because in terms of what I'm doing on that page, is the whole purpose is to get people's names out there. So getting them wrong or spelling them wrong is an issue, and I don't like to do that. Other people probably do react a bit more than others in the
Yeah.
more negative aspect, but
I
most
understand.
of the time getting lovely comments saying, love what you do, thanks so much, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's pretty PG.
Yeah. Well, let's get into a little bit, just because I'm really curious. Why did you start Triple Athlete? What was the original like thought and idea behind it, and how has that shifted over time?
So I don't know if so I mentioned I've got a house, so I rent out a room and look for, I guess, a flatmate. And I did that, oh God, it's only like 6 years ago now, but Renee Kiley actually answered the ad. So she moved in. So she was my housemate for 3 odd years. And then I had to do some travel with her and just help her with bags related stuff. And so we did that. And we moved out. Um, and obviously when you're living with a triathlete, try not to get myself in trouble here. It's a very solo pursuit, and
That's selfish.
it's selfish. Okay, yeah, it's selfish.
Okay.
Um, I guess I approach that with, if you've got zero expectations, there's going to be no problems. So when she left, it was triathlon was pretty much everything we talked about because that's everything she did.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, she left, it was like, oh, hang on a second. Like I've gotten really involved in this sport, really enjoying watching it. I just remember thinking I could never sit and watch 9 hours of a sport. And I can easily do that and easily did watching her, compete overseas or something like that. So when she sort of left, I thought, oh, hang on a second, like I've got all this interest in triathlon, yet there's no one to talk triathlon with. Um, And there were probably certain things that I saw over those years, just in terms of the dedication and how hard that she worked. Um, and there was some success, but there was a lot of disappointment as well. And it was pretty much up and down. It was like a roller coaster. And it used to really frustrate me because you obviously become involved and you're, part of their journey, and, you go to races, you're cheering them on, you see those ups and downs. But it used to annoy me that you never could see who was actually racing.
Mm,
Um, or you could only see it on those big, the top tier races.
yeah.
Otherwise, you'd be looking on a tracking app, trying to figure out who's racing, etc. So you've got all these professional triathletes spending most of well, their life at that moment training, um, you know, focused solely on that, and then they're going to races and no one knows they're racing except for like their immediate circle who they've told or whoever's following them on social media. Um, so I was actually just this is probably the lamest story, but I
No,
was
it's
just
good.
thought, oh, yeah, I'm just going to start a page. And 6 years prior, I didn't have an Instagram page at all. So when Renee moved in, she's obviously heavily on Instagram. I set up an Instagram page. I started doing that. Otherwise, I probably still wouldn't have an Instagram page. So yeah, started that like 10 minutes later. I had a name, I had a logo, I had a page. And then it just happened. But what I ended up finding is obviously my life's pretty hectic in my work life. And so when I was coming home, I didn't want to do anything, I guess. Well, not do anything, but you just wanted to relax, etc. So what I found page was it was another it was something obviously I enjoyed doing, but it was like a creative outlet or a bit of a disconnect from my work life.
Yeah.
And even though I suppose what I do is quite simple. Like it's a pretty I keep it simple on purpose. I don't think it needs to be complex. People just want to know when people are racing, and people are looking to see who's injured and who might not be racing. So, you make little games out of that. Um, but yeah, just sort of set it up within 15 minutes and then started sharing start lists, and then, made some connections in challenge family, and, got those start lists, and then it just became a regular thing. So there's a regular methodology around it, in terms of, posting when start lists are released. But then every week it's like, okay, what's on this week? And you'd post it again, and then you would tag people in it, and they would then share it to let their, obviously, community sort of know as well. So, um, yeah, just sort of like took off. Um, but really, that's where it sort of started from. It was just, okay, I enjoy this sport. I want to keep talking about it. I can see a gap in terms of, you've got all these people racing, busting their ass essentially to be at these races, yet people didn't know that they were actually racing.
Mm,
So yeah, it was just more getting those start lists out there, getting those names out there, and focusing less on the top 20, which obviously still follow, but there's a lot of people just outside the top 20 that are doing good things, and success. And I do put this hashtag up every now and again, recognition beyond the podium. So it's not just, 1, 2, 3, and that's all you're looking to achieve. There are other people, I guess, success looks differently. Getting a top 10 is success for them. Getting a faster swim, a faster bike, a faster, run split, that's success. So in what I'm building into the graphics is, yes, you're highlighting. No, that's not.
oh, no worries.
Yeah. You're not just showing results of the top 3. So I started, okay, well, I'm going to show you the results of the top 10. And then I build in, okay, well, I'm going to show who came in terms of the splits, where they came, for first, second, third, fourth, etc. And you tag those people in. So you're sharing the results, but you're actually sharing the broader successes within those results as well. Um, and probably something that I've noticed since I started is that's happening more on a lot of these pages as well. So you are seeing that they're now sharing, top 10, top 20, um, and not just the podium. So I think that's great. Like that's what it's all about.
Mm.
They're sharing lists for, not your top tier, top earner races now. So we're seeing them promoting, challenge family races and, uh, talking about other races that are happening, not just the Ironman races and not this. So that was the whole point of this. So if not that I'm saying that was the catalyst to all that happening, but when you're in the Instagram space, there is that level of competition between pages.
Hmm.
Um, this, I'm going to slightly do something a bit different. Oh no, I really like that. Oh, that got a lot of shares. Let's do something a bit different. So there's all of that.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of years, like that is shifting. So there is, I guess that spotlight is not just being focused on that top 20 anymore, which all the, those top tier races,
Yeah.
which point.
Mm.
So that was a really long answer.
No, that was a great answer. And so then with that, like, it's obviously grown to be something a little bit more. I imagine it's taking you more time than it used to. Is that accurate to say or no?
No, so I've kept the formula really simple
Yeah.
because, like, again, it's not a money generator. It's not I'm not earning income from this. So I need to be realistic in terms of how much time I'm spending. So, I'd love to do more, but I also can't let it impact, other areas of my life as well. So you'll find, if you, well, you probably don't notice, but a lot of the posting that I do is between like 3 and 6 in the morning.
I didn't know that.
Um,
Whatever. That's probably midday for me, I guess.
yeah, yeah. So 3 and 6 in the morning, because I've just woken up.
Wow, that's really early.
Yeah, yeah. I go to
3
bed.
a.m.
Yeah, I go to bed early. Don't worry.
Wow.
So or it's to be honest, I don't do much at night time. It's really, yeah, that 3 to 6 in the morning, and I think that's like peak time. It just worked out for
For
me, but
Instagram activity.
mm, so yeah, it just seemed to align really well. Or it's just that little bit later, say on a weekend, and I'm sitting at a cafe doing it. So I do most of it on my phone. Um, and I've got an iPad, so I'm not sitting at a laptop doing it. I've set it up so that it is very easy to push things out.
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh, yeah, like it's not to say that I won't change things moving forward, but it's really become, I would say, what I want it to be is, I guess, a reference site or a reference page. So from what I hear, just a few comments and feedback, it's I'm going to your page to find out who's obviously on the start list. Or I also get pros messaging me or other people messaging me, oh, I'm pulling off. So I'll add that into the column. Add that into the comments.
Yeah.
So even though I've posted a start list 2 weeks ago, if you look at the comments, you'll see people have pulled out.
It's like a live document at that point.
Yeah, that's right. And what I learned, obviously, with having housemates and professional triathletes as well, like as housemates, you track to see who your competition is. You track to see if they're going to be on the start line. Just because they're on the start list doesn't mean they're going to be in the start line. So I created a game around that because I know that's what people are doing. That's what people are tracking. You've got your podcasts that are wanting to talk about start list and who's going to be lining up. So I do want it to become, I guess, a reference site or a reference page. And from what I'm hearing, that's sort of starting to happen. Still, I guess I would say early days. We've only got 7,000 followers or just over. And that continues to grow, month by month. So I think once we get, more followers, then, opportunities to monetize, etc., might come from that. But for now, we've got a small following, but I think last year we were averaging like 1.5 to 2 million views a month on the page. So yeah, like was pretty happy with that. But it is interesting just seeing how that changes each year. So I've been able to go back, to previous months and, see how far it's sort of come. And it is very much an evolving thing. And when I first started the page, Kyle actually reached out and he's been really nice. And he just sort of said, like, keep going. It'll take off. Like, you just have to keep going.
Kyle Smith or
Kyle from Pro Tri News. Forget
oh
his last
yeah,
name.
Kyle Glass. Yeah,
Kyle Glass, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, he was lovely and just sort of, again, just some words of encouragement. Um, and they're relatively supportive. Those, they're lovely. They're nice. They seem nice. They engage as much as you can with someone remotely.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Like I am realistic in terms of the commitment I can make to it. Um, but if things change moving forward, then it could be different. Um, and I think with all the changes with T100 acquiring Challenge and things like that, it might look very different moving forward as well. Like they might start posting their start lists for all their races. Not sure. So just sort of wait and see and see what it looks like. But for the moment, I'm just doing more business as usual, and then as things evolve, and how they, I guess, compile start lists change, I'll adjust things as we go. But the idea is to keep it simple. I don't think it needs to be complex. People just want to know who's racing, who's not at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Have you done an Ironman?
No, so I'm not a triathlete. I've
That's
never
like
done a
shocking to me.
Yeah. So generally what I hear when people start talking to me is, "Oh, you're not a triathlete and you're a girl."
What's
Uh,
the girl have to do it?
they just like, I suppose if you think of all the pages in the triathlon space, the most of them are run by males.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
So they're surprised to you know when they do see me that I'm a girl. So I
Yeah.
try not to take offense, but
Do you have any desire to ever try one?
I wouldn't say no, but do you follow Steph Clutterbuck?
Yeah, I had her on the podcast
Yeah.
a year ago, maybe.
Yeah, so she's obviously talks a lot about a condition called POTS,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah.
and been managing that over the last probably 6 months or so. So I've actually got that as well.
Oh wow.
So
I'm sorry.
because I've had that for probably going back like 10 years now.
Yeah.
Didn't know what it was, and then during COVID, um, it's obviously become a bit more popular, or there's a bit of a spotlight on it, but. Um, I'm amazed at what Steph can do. I'm amazed to see her on the start line in Kona, particularly with the heat and the conditions. So not to say that that's my excuse, but in some way that's my excuse, one of the excuses. The other excuse is I know what it takes to be good at it.
You
I've
have to
got
be good at the things you do.
I've got the personality that if I sign up for something, I'm all in. So I'm very careful what I sign up for because I know I'm like that. Um, so if I was to sign up for a triathlon, I would have the best bike, I would have the best shoes, I'd be doing a Renee Kiley. She had the best of everything. I'd be doing the exact same thing. But I also don't want to make that time commitment. There's other things I want to do in my life, and swim, biking, and running, and making that pretty much life for years to progress is something that I don't want to do. And I would want to be competitive.
Yeah.
Um, like doing it for fun, I could see obviously that would be fun, but that's just not
Not you.
not I was very competitive when I was younger in sports and things like that. And I've naturally got that I guess that ability,
That drive.
um,
Yeah.
that drive, and I could just pick up things really quickly when it comes to sports. So Um, yeah, part of me does think that maybe I should do one, and I think I would go all right. But I'm also not very fit, Seth. Like it would be starting right from scratch
That is
and build.
like that is the best place to start.
Yeah, like literally zero.
Yeah. Hey, Couch Tacona. Crazier things have happened, and I've seen people come across
Oh,
start
zero.
lines where it's like, yeah. No, you should. I think you should. I think it'd be super fun. Obviously, I don't know your. I mean, if you're getting up at 3 a.m., you must have a pretty intense daytime schedule that you want to get to bed early, but to get up that early, you're obviously disciplined enough. So if you're waking up at 3 a.m., I guess waking up at 2 a.m. is not that crazy if you wanted to get in a little something before and then maybe something in the evening. But yeah, it takes commitment, but it's one thing to observe it. Obviously another thing to do it. But with you said like sports in your background, I'm curious what sports did you do growing up?
Oh, just like I'm talking like primary school days and, things like that. Like I was, age champion, all through primary school, softball,
Let's go.
gosh, I think a team, my friend and I back in the day. What else have I played? Basketball, baseball,
Yeah.
uh, like the runner, long jump, high jump, discus, javelin, all of that sort of stuff. I was kind of like an all rounder. Um, and it just always came naturally to me. And then probably when I hit high school, I just, other priorities, and didn't sort of do as much. And then not a couple of years ago, I joined a baseball team and I loved that. And it just sort of all came back. The fitness didn't come back, but like everything else did.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think you just realize there's that gap in terms of like I forgot that I enjoyed that sort that sort of part of myself, I guess.
Sure.
And like this page is probably a bit of that as well. Like I enjoyed going to races and because you see, I don't know, it's just like the atmosphere. It's
That's
the
awesome.
I was into it in terms of the preparation for these races. Um, and the disappointment or the joy afterwards if you've had a good race. But I love that aspect of it. Um, so yeah, part of me thinks that it's a bit of I had that sporting piece of me when I was younger, and it's sort of a connection to that possibly again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not
What
sure.
would need to happen for you to have the motivation to wake up tomorrow and say, I'm gonna sign up for I don't know, Ironman cans.
Um. Oh gosh. Oh, I'd need a coach. I definitely couldn't self coach it. So like it would have to be someone that's yeah, I don't know. Like it'd just be a shift in priorities.
What would have to die? What priorities would you have to shift and like kick out the door?
like my commitment to work. to
Quit your job. You've been there enough. Get a severance package.
Yeah. So look, if someone wants to sponsor me to be in the next race and is willing to, like, sure. No. Um, yeah, no, there would just need to be shifts in that area. You come home at the end of the day and, I'm tired. I think mentally, and then, sometimes I do wonder with all the pot stuff, whether or not physically I'm
Could do it.
tired. Um, I think, yeah, like never say no, but I don't know. I tend to like my cafe trips and sleeping in and doing what I want to
Sleeping
when
in?
I
What are you talking about? You get up at 3 a.m. Are you talking about the weekends?
oh yeah, I don't sleep in, Seth, let's be honest.
Yeah.
I don't actually set alarms in the morning to get up that early either. I'm just up.
That's wild. That really is why I'm really shocked by that. Like 3 a.m. What time do you go to bed? 6, 7?
I'm usually in bed by 9,
6 hours of sleep.
but
I guess that's
I'm
not
asleep.
terrible.
But yeah, no, morning I was up early. Um, but I just lay there. I don't get up. So
I think it's time. I can help you find a coach if you need to.
I'm sure there's a lot of coaches. I've got a lot in my feeds. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, then there's the equipment, um, and all the other stuff that comes with it. So
Yeah, it's true. I just started coaching a girl actually who has never done an Ironman before, and like I mean, we're having conversations just not just around training protocol, but like, well, what kind of clips do I get for my shoes? Oh, wait, you mean you have to wear special shoes for this bike? And then, how do I go around corners in the arrow position, all this stuff? So yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
a lot. I've actually forgotten how much it does take because I've been doing it now for 5, 6 years. First couple of years I jumped in, but you start acquiring these little pieces of equipment over the course of a few years, and then eventually you kind of have everything, and then it's just upgrading. But to start
Yeah.
out, yeah, it's like, all right, well, you're looking probably at least $3,000 on the very cheap side of getting everything you need to kind of get starting this
Yeah.
self-deprecating sport.
I think it's just all the discomfort too. Like I've sat on a TT bike in my garage when it's been on the trainer because when my housemates have their bikes, but like I've sat on one of them. They are not comfortable.
Yeah, it's
And
an
I,
acquired taste.
it, yeah, and there's other little things like those glasses and things like that. I can't pull that off. Like
Yeah,
it's
you can.
just
Come on, Elise.
there's
You
just
could.
little things I just
Yeah,
don't know if I'm going to accept. But
yeah,
no, I think for now I'll just continue doing what I'm doing. But yeah, who knows what's happening
yeah.
moving
Let
forward.
me know when you decide. Um,
Yeah,
so
I'll try. I'm gonna be doing it. I'm going to be putting it all over my page, and I'm going to be whinging and complaining, and you'll hear the full story. Don't worry.
I'd say your network is big enough now too, where you could get some good support and probably some like decently used equipment for cheap prices. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got 7,000 followers, 1.2 million views. You put a story up, and I'm sure you'd have a number of people. I have a way smaller page and network, and I've asked people about watching. I got like tons of people helping me out. So,
Mm.
yeah, it's definitely possible.
I do see that a lot actually. It is a very big community. And I go to a few races and when you're standing around with, housemates and things like that, everyone's lovely. And even since I started the page, like I have a shirt that I'm wearing now, and you'll go to races and people will just come up to you and go, "Oh my God, you're the person that runs, da 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 da." And so everyone's lovely.
Yeah,
So I can see do triathlon for the community.
yeah, it's like a religion.
Well, obviously they stick with it. Um, but I also think it attracts a certain type of person, also triathlon. Like it's that very solo pursuit to drive, you know.
A lot of
Um,
trauma.
yeah,
A
essentially.
lot of broken people.
Yeah, chasing something that they don't know, but they get up every day, swim, bike, run to try and find what they need. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you found what you need?
Do we ever? Like, I don't know. Do we all know what we need? My needs change every day, I feel.
Mm,
Different stages in life. And, you think you've got it all together and then, something else changes. You create a triathlon page for fun and, who knows where that leads. And I don't know.
mm,
It's a very random thing to add to my life,
yeah.
I would say.
What's
So the comments I get from my sort of circle. Like, why are you doing it? Even my nieces and nephews go, why do you have a triathlon page? And I'm like, well, do you like riding motorbikes? Yes. Do you like watching football? Yes. And I said, well, I like watching triathlon. Oh, okay. So, they do get a bit of sass to them when they're older, Seth. So,
yeah. Bring it on.
you know, yeah.
Bring it on. I had a really good question. Totally left me. But I'll ask you this one. Oh, here it is. What's taking up the most mental bandwidth for you? Like what's on the forefront of your mind?
Um, like work's, to be honest, work's really busy at the moment. So that's
Yeah.
taking a big chunk of that. Um, yeah, probably that. And, just general life, I would say. Like I try to keep my life pretty simple, um, and drama free as much as I can. But yeah, I think when you're managing people, there's I guess a mental load that comes with that as well.
Hmm. What do you do to recenter yourself whenever you feel the stress building?
This is really lame, but I love to get out into my garden and my yard.
That's not
Uh,
lame.
I'm one of those people that, will sit on the back deck and just look at the grass that I've just mown or the garden that I've just,
Pleasing.
completely. Yeah. So I get a lot of fulfillment out of that and just doing anything about the house, I guess. Like, you work hard to get what you get. And I think, those I do sit back and sort of look at those things and what I've achieved. And then, when it comes to garden and lawns, it's something, you want it to look nice.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that's probably something I do. I spend a lot of time at cafes.
You like
Or
coffee?
no, not a coffee drinker. I'm a chai drinker. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't know what that says about me, but um, yeah, just try different places all over the place. Go on a few bushwalks with friends, try new restaurants, that sort of things.
When you say bushwalks, is that just like I'm gonna go walk in the forest? Is that what the
Yeah,
bush is?
basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
When I think of bush, I'm like, okay, we're in the middle of Serengeti, like looking brown everything, a few rattlesnakes, and maybe a kangaroo that wants to kick you. Like that's what I think of when I hear bush. But then I see someone like Josh Amberger and him and his bush adventures. I'm like, oh, that's a proper rainforest looking situation he's got
Mm.
going on there. So I was curious what you thought, like what comes to mind when you say that.
Yeah, so like I don't know where they live, but I'm pretty sure they're in my area. So his definition or his where he's looking and going on hikes, etc. That's my backyard,
Yeah, that's cool.
essentially.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So yeah, like different areas depending on where you are, but it can be really rainforesty, or it could be climbing up a mountain. So like quite dry, or it could be just sort of like outback type bush.
Hmm.
But yeah, it just varies depending on where we are. But again, I'm surrounded by all those different things.
Yeah. Are you a religious person?
No, I'd say no. Like when we were growing up, we had the foundation, so we went to Sunday school.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in God. But yeah, like we did that when I was younger, but yeah, not much now. So I wouldn't say I'm religious, but I've got that foundation there.
Yeah. So you said you do believe in God.
Yeah,
How do you know
yeah.
that He
But
exists?
isn't that just faith? Like, it's the same thing, I guess, with heaven. I like to think that when you die, you go somewhere. There's um a bigger reason for things. But yeah, no, I don't know. That's just something that again that foundational that I guess my parents sort of instilled in us when we were younger. But yeah, I don't go to church every week.
Yeah. The
As
older I
others might.
Yeah, the older I get, the less importance actually. Some people will not like me saying this from my own circles, but the less importance I actually see on going to quote unquote church. I think it's more about
Mm,
community. Church was put in place, I think, to like offer that community space for the exchanging of experience. I think is the biggest part of like, well, how did your week go in the context of everything that we believe in? I think that's really what it should be about. It's become so much more, especially in America. But like, you go to church to listen to good music and for somebody to be a good orator and tell you something that makes you feel inspired for 30 minutes and then you forget about it and then you do it all over again next week. I
mm.
think it's not as interesting to me anymore. It's interesting when COVID happened, so many people actually quit going.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's all about community, isn't it? So
Hmm.
whether you're like the religious community or triathlon community or something else, I think um, people look for different things in different areas of life, and if you can look for different communities um, to receive the same support or whatever you're needing at that point.
Yeah.
Um, so I think, yeah, and I think if anything now, you can't just have face to face isn't the only option. We've learnt that.
Yeah.
Um, During COVID, you hear stories about, there was online church, whereas I think a lot of churches now have that online option now. So I know a lot of my aunties do online. Um, so yeah, it comes in very different sort of forms now.
Yeah.
Right. Um, yeah, no, yeah, wouldn't say I'm religious, but wouldn't say I'm completely not either, I guess.
Yeah. Do you think that I guess it could be your nieces, or if one day when you have kids, do you want to have those same foundations kind of given to them, or do you think that you'll just kind of whatever happens?
Um, Probably sort of like whatever happens, but I do like thinking that there's, obviously heaven exists and there's a bigger purpose in life, and but again, I'm not going to, enforce one particular view on anyone. I think there's just so many different ways you can sort of look at that now, and yeah, who am I to put that on my own kid, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll feel differently when I have one.
Yeah.
Um, Not sure.
Hmm. Thanks for answering that question. I like asking that one in particular because I don't know.
Yeah,
I
so you do answer that. So I was thinking I was going to ask you a religious question, and I just thought like I can't go anywhere with it apart from saying that I'm not religious. But yeah, but
yeah.
yeah, I think it's if people can believe in what they want to believe, I think it doesn't
Belief.
change the way I think about
Yeah, I think belief matters so much because
it. Mm,
if you don't believe in something, I think actually I'll take that back. I don't think anyone can live a life without believing in something, and whether
mm,
it's a belief in a moral, like a moral system of principles, or like I guess coming from like a Christian worldview perspective, I really do see us as like vessels of that to be filled with something. So we have like our soul and spirit, and then the character traits that we eventually develop based on our thoughts that eventually become action, and those actions kind of develop our character. So with that framework in mind, I've never met anyone where I'm like, oh, it's just kind of empty in there. Like there's something settles into place for the way that they make decisions, and you can call that worldview.
mm,
You can call that culture. You can call that religion or whatever. But at the end of the day, like we can all look at different colors and say, oh, those colors are different. And I think it's very similar in like principle, although there are gray areas. There's areas where you're like, yeah, I don't know, is that the best, is that bad or good? Like it's like a rainbow. There's so many
mm,
different colors to and shades of those colors to experience, but people do land somewhere. And so and like I like asking that question about kids, like how would you raise kids, because obviously I have a daughter now, so it's really interesting to me.
mm,
But I really am thankful for the way I was brought up, which I don't know if it would be good for every kid, but like my mom and dad went from a very extreme of like, we're not really religious. We say we are, but we're making a lot of decisions that would not really track with that way of living. And then other parts in our life when it was like, no, like we are going to not only go to church, but here's the principles we believe in. We believe in eating healthy. We believe in going to church here and, not saying bad words and all these things. And
yeah.
in observing both sides of that coin, it allowed me to have a lot to consider whenever I came to, I guess, like an age of reckoning of like, well, why do I believe what I believe?
Mm,
And how does that motivate me in my everyday decisions? Because, yeah, I don't know. I kind of believe that if there's nothing that I kind of root myself foundationally, that whenever it comes to when the time comes to make a hard decision, I'm going to gravitate to the thing that is of less friction, that's just easy to fall
yeah.
into, and it's usually developed by a habit. So yeah, that's my pontification for today.
Yeah, well, like I find myself saying that, I'm just going to put something out to the universe and we'll see how it responds. Or I do very much believe that people come into your life for a reason. Um, so that, like that's not religious, but there's a higher power, I guess, or purpose, in what's happening. And, I've got some, there's examples where, you put it out to the universe and things all, happen. Whether or not they were going to happen anyway, or it was
Mm,
because you put it out, don't know. But again, if it gets you, helps you through your day, who am I to say that it's the wrong? Or, and the same thing goes with religion. Like as long as it's doing no harm to other people and, people aren't forcing things on other people, then it doesn't affect my life. So
yeah,
how I engage with people.
yeah, yeah. Some of the greatest atrocities ever committed on this earth have been done under the guise of religion. And I
Mhm.
would say under the religion of like Christian religion or Muslim religion, but in the same way, like, yeah, I guess because it's relevant. Like all the stuff that's going on right now with the Epstein files, there's so much just horrible things that have seemingly been done, and a lot of those seem to be tied back to like occult practices, which is a form of religion. You know, like, it's like, who are you
Mhm.
worshiping? Because like I can do things out of act of goodness that bring people to tears in the best way, but you can also do things out of acts of heinous evil that also bring people to
Yeah.
tears for the exact opposite. So it's like there's, whether you believe in God or not, you cannot deny that like there is a spectrum of good versus evil. And it's like always
Yeah.
this tug of war. The Chinese knew that with the yin and yang thing. Like everybody knows that there's something going on behind the scenes for sure.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So,
Mm.
final question for you. If I, because you know a lot of different people, obviously in this triathlon world, I would say even more than me, definitely. Um, who do you think are a few people who I should try to have on the podcast?
Okay.
And you can
You've
explain
probably
why if you
got
want.
it. I think like what we were saying before, Sky's story, I think is really unique and yeah, just so interesting. So I do like the the new mothers and how they're navigating. So I think that's a great story. Um, but what I like about your podcast actually, Seth, is you actually listen to the answers or people's
Thank you.
responses and then build from there. A lot of other podcasts, it's not so much like that.
Hmm.
Um, and not that I've been on that many, but you do. Yeah, it seems very question answer, whereas you sort of develop your, like, I'm sure you've got some plans on your end that you do, but I think you sort of take the conversation in different directions. Like I know when you asked me to be on this, I'm thinking, oh, I don't think there's anything exciting about me. And you're like, no, 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 we just have a chat. We just have a chat.
Hmm.
And of different topics. And not that I think that we've gone anywhere that I didn't expect, but like you dug deeper in areas where I didn't expect. Um, which yeah, I find interesting. That's why I listen to your podcast.
Oh, thank you.
Um, in terms of guests, went off a bit of a tangent there. Like you've already done Steph. Like I think what she's been able to achieve just with that pod stuff is amazing. Um, yeah, probably just, and again, you do this anyway, but yeah, look just beyond the top 10, the top 20. Um, and do what you can to support sort of those, rising stars. Because I suppose they're all wanting to get their name out there. And they've all got a story. Um, and you do when you meet different people, you do hear about that sort of trauma and why they're doing what they're doing, or
That's what I
you,
love the most.
yeah, yeah. So one of the triathletes, and I'm sure she would be interested in coming on, um, Olivia, is it? I'm going to get her name wrong. Um, I met her when I went to Challenge Sabanias last year, and
Okay.
she's got a really interesting story. Um, Olivia, it's not Diesel. I'll send the details through, but I'm sure
Ditzel?
she, yeah,
Dietzel?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Um, a really interesting story, and I'm sure she'd be willing to share. So, and she's, yeah, it's a really personal story, I guess, with her and what she's doing, and she's got, a bit of a, forgetting now, but she has tattoos that she puts on before all of her races for her, I guess, the cause that she's racing with. Give anything away, but yeah,
That never matter.
race, yeah, yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
So
I'll
there's
reach out to her.
a story if you want to. The other person I'd love to hear from, and I'm not sure if you're following him, but his name's John
John Simmons?
uh, Sammut, Sammut. So he's going through a bit of a tough time at the moment. He was a professional triathlete that was injured in Ironman Western Australia, I think, not last year, before. And he had some pretty significant damage done to his leg. So he's still sort of going through that process at the moment. But he's probably another story that I guess I've been following.
Yeah, send
Um,
me that Instagram. I can't seem to find him for some reason.
yeah, John,
You got
that I
all the
can say
recs.
part of the Ogging squad. Do you know the Ogging squad with
No, I don't.
I'm shocking with names.
OGG.
Yeah, OGGING squad. So he was one of the. There's a page on that as well.
Oh yeah, I actually have seen a few of their reels come through.
And part of that circle too, the pro triathlete. But he'd be another. Um, he's just had a really tough time, and the things that he's had to navigate, and he's going in for another surgery today on his leg, and I think he was saying it's his number 18.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so yeah, I'd like to give him a bit of a shout out, and Olivia. Um, there's sort of two that have jumped to my mind. There's obviously a few that are sort of up and coming, not up and coming, but based on last year's results, that they're sort of on the move.
Cool. We'll chat about it.
Those two, yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. And also going
Hopefully,
back really.
or if they do,
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see what they say.
they both. I don't think they will.
Yeah. Well, also, I just want to say thanks for saying what you said about the podcast and the affirmation there, because I have a set, like, usually maybe 10 questions or so that like always are designed to like kind of draw stuff out. And then I have some more specialty ones if I can do some research and figure out just something, I don't know, not dirt, but
Mm.
dig up something that's like sticks out a little bit more, or maybe hidden. But I count the success of a podcast kind of on two metrics. One, how little did I talk when I'm looking at the edit and like the time. So as long as they're vastly in the majority, I think that's good. And then two, if I can get them to answer questions without asking that question, and like listen to their answers to guide it in a particular direction, because all of our lives kind of revolve around family, what we're doing for work, and kind of our seated beliefs, which usually is why I ask a lot about the family at first. Like, how'd you get that way? Nature
Mm.
versus nurture, because that will kind of drive into to get them thinking of why they do what they do. So I love it whenever I have questions here and I can like mark it out on the side as I'm listening, because I'm like, oh yeah, they answer. I didn't even have to ask it. That's always super fun.
Mm.
I've learned so much about human psychology. I feel like in over 206 episodes, um, still lots to learn, but
Mm.
it's so fascinating because I used to.
Good at it. It's not a talent. It is a talent. I couldn't do what you do. Like it's a talent to do.
Thank you. You know where I think it actually comes from, and I had to really wrestle with this because it bothered me. Because a few people have said like, "Oh, when I went on your show, it was like almost a form of therapy," and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I've done so much therapy." And talking to psychologists, like that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm treating them almost in some ways like a
Mm.
client of mine, and I'm like, that's weird. Well, whatever. I'm just being a friend and like trying to get to know them. But I think
Mm.
honestly, a lot of my influence and asking questions comes from that. So yeah, I appreciate you affirming that. It's super fun, and I love getting to do it. It's an honor that people will open up. It's fun when people cry too. Not like fun because like, oh, I love people
Yeah.
crying, but when they're able to release enough.
I wasn't going to let you do that to me.
Yeah. Well, we were only on round one. We do round twos as well. No.
Not yet, but you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, yeah, like this has been really easy because of your style. So very much chatty. Hopefully you don't have too much editing to do, and I haven't said
I don't edit a
and
single thing.
oh really? Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wait till you see this and you might change your mind. But
Nope.
no, it's been good fun.
Yeah. Well, Elise, thank you so much. I appreciate you introducing yourself. Yeah, those year and 3 months ago or so. And then being on, obviously, very happy to have you on. I look forward to publishing your story so people can get to know a little bit more about who you are. And if anyone is listening who wants me to ask some more specific questions, send them to me and I'll try to have you on again. So it'll be fun. But yeah, thank you so much for making the time. What time is it there, actually, really quick?
It is 8:20 a.m.
Okay.
So
So
I'm
it's,
at
yeah.
work now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me on, Seth. So yeah.
Thank you so much to Elise for coming on the podcast. Great conversation, especially off the air too. Got to connect on a number of different things that were close to my heart. I love having deep conversations, and I love that you guys are here to be able to witness those conversations. So thank you for being here. And Elise, thank you so much for jumping on and making time for me. If you are there here at this point in the podcast, just want to say again, thank you. Really appreciate you. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, check out the show notes description for ways to support the pod and to sign up for that newsletter. I got a bunch of these socks. If you are interested in some socks at even a lower price point, let me know. I'd be willing to put these things on sale because I need to get rid of them. They have been here for a while. I'm going to take this off so you can see them, but I've literally got a bunch of socks and some of the bar bags as well. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, let me know. Happy to make something happen so that you guys can get that. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.